Hi, this is Terry. Welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of a 2-part series on pandemic reflections. I'll go ahead and put a link up there to part 1 where I kind of did a highlight reel of the last year during the pandemic, recording this on Sunday, March 14th. And this is when lockdown really started for us in the Mead household, because we picked up our son Adam from San Diego State, brought him home, and that's really when the clock really started ticking for us.
Our sanity.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So in the first one, as I said, I did a highlight reel, and then I also wanted to focus on the good things that have really come out of the last year. And as I said in the last video, Finn is questioning whether good things came out of it, but
I'm chuckling over here.
Well, you know, I have like new tasty cocktails to drink as a result, because a lot of us coped with the last year with copious amounts of alcohol. Fortunately for me, back at the end of January, I decided to dial it back, so I'm actually being really, really good. But I just couldn't help but mix one. So cheers to all of you who are doing okay at this point, who've made it this far with their sanities mostly intact. So cheers to you. And this is a whiskey sour, by the way. It's super, super tasty. So one of the things that really, one of the big things that came out of it is a lot of people had extra time. And as a result, we were able to connect in ways that we hadn't been before, because we're so busy with our work and commuting and extracurriculars and lugging kids to and from, and, you know, and there were, in the first couple months, there were times that I was actually able to pick up the phone and call people, and they answered because they were at home. You know, a lot of people that I know, a lot of people I know did have to be someplace else, whether they were healthcare providers or essential workers or, you know, something else. But then a lot of the professionals that I know who were able to work from home, whether they were in software or consulting, they were able to do their stuff from home, so they were able to pick up the phone, and they were more than happy to interrupt the endless Zoom calls and Zoom meetings.
Oh God, fuck Zooms.
All of us have PTSD around the term Zoom.
Mine isn't even PTSD, it's continued. TSD. There we go.
Yeah, stress trauma. Anyway, so people answered the phones. We were able to schedule Zoom cocktail parties. We were able to schedule regular Zoom calls with people from all around the world, or at least I was able to. And since I know people were on the other side of that, I know it was a we that was involved. We were able to do Whiskey Wednesdays, where we got together once a week outside around a fire pit with our neighbors, with 2 sets of neighbors, and we rotated between the 3 houses. We were able to do curbside cocktails. At some point, we were doing curbside visits with my parents, who I haven't really seen much of for the last couple months, but I do talk to my mom regularly.
They got their vaccines.
Yes, my parents have both. I think Zeke's parents have also gotten their vaccines. I think they're all good. But as you can hear, Whiskey Wednesdays, curbside cocktails, you know, the Zoom cocktail parties, there were a lot of cocktails involved, and I think a lot of us used alcohol in order to really cope with the last year. Food and alcohol. I know people were talking about the pandemic pounds. Fortunately, I don't think I put on a heck of a lot until the holidays hit. Put on a couple pounds there, but I've been able to drop some since then. But that's a whole separate story. The thing, as a result of having time, I know that it both narrowed our focus on things and then also opened up opportunities. And I know I'm not the only one who really was able to focus on the people who were really most important in my life, really develop relationships. I am so grateful that I was able to use the opportunity to use Zoom calls and Clubhouse and other things to expand my relationships with some new friends, like my friend Werner in Poland, Amy, who's local, my friends Candace and Jessica, who are up in Portland, my friend Amen, who is in Paris. We were able to get to know each other better. And let me see and my friend Christy in Nicaragua, because we were all stuck at home. We were all able to make time for each other. At the same time, it became very clear about who was not as important or who didn't value friendships as much as I did. So I've been able to step away from those or maybe move those people to outer circles. The time also, because we had our bandwidth and our brain cycles consumed by all sorts of other things, whether it was the pandemic or what the Orange Cheeto president was doing and his administration, and also the Black Lives Matter issues that really came front and center in June. The fires in California, all of the big things that happened, the election issues, all the big things that happened in the United States, we were all just, it limited our ability to have all sorts of extra garbage going on. And so we really had to narrow our focus. And that has really led me to 2021 in continuing to refine and define what is most important to me. And once again, I know I'm not alone in this. It's like, who's important, what's important. So all of this really kind of forced greater awareness and greater intentionality around this, which I think is really, really fantastic as we move forward. It's giving us an opportunity to reset, to be able to move forward in a more healthy, more intentional, and more conscious approach into the latter part of 2021 and into 2022. As I mentioned in the last video, 2020 was actually a pretty good consulting year for me, which was great because it gave me a comfortable anchor when everything else was going crazy. I found a Clubhouse, and while I'm not on it as much now, I have met some amazing people around the world, and it really saved me starting in August. And the virtual co-working club and room that we opened up every single day gave me other people to be accountable to, other people to work with, and to learn and connect with people intellectually and personally in a way that I had been absolutely deprived of because I didn't have meetings and conferences and everything else where I mean, even the grocery store, I wasn't even going to the grocery store to meet new people because I meet new people and make friends pretty much everywhere. I now have Clubhouse besties that once we're out of this, I want to be able to see and meet in real life. And I know that that's absolutely going to happen. Adam, while he had a really crappy time at San Diego State and a really tough time during the lockdown, he has since left. He's now doing very well at San Diego City College. He is tutoring and is a teacher's assistant. He has he's got a private job and a regular job, and is working on making sure that he can transfer into another school come the fall. And really, he's doing so much better. He voluntarily came home recently, and we had an absolutely fantastic weekend. So I feel good that he's on good track. Finn is doing okay, thinking about the future. I mean, this is just kind of a weird time for a 16, almost 17-year-old, and thinking of, doing SATs and thinking about college and the future during the pandemic. It's a very weird time normally. And so my hope is that when they graduate in December of this year, and then we figure out what that's going to be, that by August, September of 2022, that they'll have as normal of a college experience as possible, well, as normal as they can have. So,
knowing me, it won't be anything like Adam's.
No, well, I hope not, because that has been a bit of a shit show. Yeah. So, is that the word for the pandemic? Shit show? Anyway,
I think that's just the word for
everything
now.
Yeah. So I was able to launch Terri 5.0 so that I can really be focused on what I want to be doing, how I want to operate in the world, and who I want to have along for the ride. It provided my husband Zeke and I an opportunity to kind of re-examine our relationship and define what it is that works best for us and also works best for our kids. And I look forward to continuing to refine that during 2021. All sorts of opportunities this year to really refine as a result of the pandemic. I've been working on my second book. I'm excited. Hopefully I can have that out by the end of the year. Working title is Her Name Was Dahlia Rose. And
oh, you added Rose.
Her Name Was Dahlia. Maybe it's Her Name Is Dahlia Rose. Yeah. So anyway, that's exciting. And as I said, this year really gave me an opportunity to focus on what's most important, and let go of the garbage that isn't in every aspect of my life. as I said in the previous video, we are very fortunate. We're healthy. We didn't really lose our jobs. Our family's healthy. Our friends have all been healthy and have come through relatively unscathed. Well, okay, psychologically might be a challenge because it really hasn't been easy. As much as I'm focusing on the good stuff, it has not been easy, and it's not been easy for a lot of people within our circles and throughout the world. So I don't want to minimize the impact on anybody by focusing on the good stuff came out of it. Just consider it my coping mechanism and trying to figure out how to make sense when bad things happen. I'd be lying if I said that I didn't have FOMO around being really last in line for the vaccines and having some concerns about vaccine passports and not being able to do things because I haven't had access to vaccines.
I'm even further than you are.
Yeah, probably. I think there's a lot of uncertainty in 2021, so I don't want to minimize that. But what I am trying to focus on is really how to position and take advantage of this time in moving forward so that I can move forward as cleanly and operate in 2021 with the greatest of ease, the greatest of grace, and really, I hate to use the term, but really optimize based on everything else that has happened. So I think that's it. Finn, did one good thing happen for you out of the pandemic?
Probably.
You're such a shit. Oh, teenagers. Anyway, with that, I just want to say thank you so much for your ongoing support. Thank you for watching. I'd love to, as I said in the last video, hear some of the good things that have come out of the pandemic. If you've been able to silver lining it at all, drop me a line at pilotingyourlife@gmail.com or go ahead and put a note in the comments. And if you missed the last video, go ahead and put a link up there. I finally figured out which finger to put up so that I can put that link in. And with that, I just want to say take care of yourself, let go of perfection, take some risks, and above all else, have some fun.